Okay, I'm gonna give it a minute. Because Counselor Christopher is here, and then we'll do roll call. Made good time.
She likes to go fast.
No, I do
not.
not.
Stop it.
Yes, you do.
Mhm.
Are you driving your car now?
Decide
We should, yeah. Okay, you come in. You feel the love, you know? So, Lori, what we're going to do is we're going to convene as a work session because CPEC does not have a quorum. So, but we are going to be able to go through at least most of the conversation and, hopefully a couple more people will get here and then we'll talk about the goals. So, give me a second.
Well, the weather's pretty good.
Oh, seriously. All right. So with that,
Sure, and go
I'd like to call to order the Kansas City Council in a work session. It is Monday, March 30th, 2026, and ask our city recorder to please call roll.
Counselor Cross,
Here.
Mayor Clark,
Here.
Council President Starr,
Here.
Counselor Christopher.
Here.
Counselor Duran,
Here.
Counselor Parsons.
Here.
Counselor Kohler.
Councilor Kohler is excused. For the record, this is scheduled to be a joint work session with the Community Diversity Engagement Committee. They do not have quorum present, but just so people who are listening to this recording know who is here. Can we get on the record who is here from CBC? I'll start with the chair. Here. So Tammy Kunz. And Robin Martin out here. And
faster almost.
okay, thank you, to the three of you for joining us this evening. Ms. Wilson had notified us that she could not attend. And have not heard from, Mr. Porter or Mr. Rodriguez, that I know of. Ms. Bissett, did you get anything? Ms. Guns? No? Okay.
No, Larry's always about 5 minutes late, because he's coming from sports.
Gotcha. Well, it is a beautiful day and there's a lot of sports practices going on, so we understand that. But without notice at this point, this is a work session of the council. That said, this is a time that we have set aside for our biannual, so we're trying to meet twice a year with CDEC. So we have conversations about the work that is underway, what has been done, and then we will talk about the 2026 goals and make sure that you get some feedback and conversation about that. So that's the game plan for tonight. So with that, is there staff lead off or shall I go to the CBEC chair? All right,
I'll say go to the chair.
okay.
Thank you.
Tammy, why don't you kick us off?
Okay, so we have the accomplishments for 2025 listed. And then we put together the 2026 goals. I'm not sure where you want to start.
Let's run through the accomplishments just to get a sense of what you and your predecessors, because I do want to note for the record that the membership of this committee changed in what month? We did a full reappointment. March of 25. So January, February was another committee, except for Tammy, you were on the committee, that you were not.
No, when James. No, April.
Okay,
April.
okay. So this is it was
your own.
yeah, it was begun in January by another crew, and then in March, the methodology for selecting the members changed. And so each council member appointed people. And so I love the continuity, got it started and just kept it going. So great work. So let's look at the first couple. These were ones that were carryover from 24. The engagement matrix. That's something that's still like underway. We're gonna look at that as well.
That was never brought up to us at any of our meetings.
No. Okay. It was reviewed, but
It was reviewed, but we haven't brought it back. We can.
We should, either, for relevancy, I don't even know what it is.
no, it was a, go ahead, Robin.
It seems to me that we kind of changed direction,
Mhm.
and I thought we had accomplished everything on it.
I'm looking at Tim, who's,
Yes, I'm looking at Tim too.
Suspect continuity is you.
Right. I think we're in trouble. So that was a document that the committee had been working on previously. That basically listed out the different ways that the city was engaging the community. And we could use that as a kind of a matrix when we're looking at something, some new program or something, and flow it through that matrix to say, okay, these are the different ways that if we're trying to communicate information, this is the methods that we should use to do that. It did kind of die somewhat on the vine a little bit when we had the turnover in the committee. So again, that was a pre-March item that we've been working on. A lot of these things were pre-March. Then we also had a turnover, I think in May, June time period when we lost our committee chair. So there's we've had a lot of people kind of come and go throughout the year as well. So some of the things that we were working on kind of died also after we had the joint session in June. So before that, we were working on a lot of things, looking at how people got onto the committee, how we engaged the community, and those things kind of went to the side as we reevaluated, or the committee reevaluated priorities after the June work session.
thanks for the reminder of how we got there. I'm trying to look back on some of my old records. Anyway, can we put a pin in that one, and see what that is? Because one of the goals of the committee is community diversity engagement. And one of the things that was on there was meeting offsite, and that's actually now legal speak. So there are pieces, that are still in play, and the names have a different label, so let's take a look, Councilor Cross.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Would it be fair to say that that's an ongoing goal, not an accomplishment?
Well,
Or something in progress from what I've heard so far?
Under construction.
Under construction or
Well,
ongoing? I mean, I can't say from what I've heard so far, that's an accomplishment,
well, no, I think it was the development of the matrix.
yes.
but nobody, from what I've heard, I can't say it's defined.
So the, Commissioner speak, my recollection of it was that it was a decent framework through which we can run things through to see, okay, how do we put this thing, whatever activity say it's for this, All Nations Day. You could kind of run that through the engagement matrix and it would kind of give you some clues. Okay, then you should be targeting this audience through this mechanism, through this mechanism, through this mechanism. So the development of it was finalized, but the use of it hasn't
I just.
implemented, it has been implemented.
Well, I would say if I had this piece of paper, this for feedback in front of me, then I would say, oh, wow. When have we used this and how have we used it? So from what you just described, it's a tool that's been collecting dust in a toolbox.
Yeah. Fair.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we review it.
Yeah, absolutely, we review it, and, yeah, with the changeover, Yeah.
See if it's still relevant.
yeah, absolutely. Then we went on, we did a whole lot of work on proclamations, national observances. And then this year we just carried it forward.
Yeah, we didn't make any changes this year.
So between the CTEC and the council, we had a lot of conversations on that. Any questions on that one? Assign committee members to identify, coordinate guest speakers. So this was what you did for 25 and done again for 26.
And with 26, we've incorporated all the committees, so we've all, the committees that we've reached out to, like April. Was Public Arts, and Robin reached out to Public Arts, and Becca's gonna come to our offsite meeting and share. For Public Arts, and then I reached out to Becca not knowing. Or not remembering. And she's gonna share on Rad and Sue's at the same time.
He's gonna show them, right?
Rad and Sue's?
But there's red.
Oh, Radness and Sue, I thought you were saying Brad and Sue, and I thought Brad and Sue.
No, she's gonna share on our business too. So we've incorporated that with 26th as well.
Okay, so this has been a cross pollination then, it sounds, between the committees as well as, now this goes on the proclamations, which was follow up on that. Council President Starr?
Thank you, Mayor Clark. Out of curiosity, who determines who the guest speakers are? Is that a committee discussion or is that just?
No, we are all assigned a different date based on the proclamation, and it's up to that committee member to go find somebody within that realm of proclamation and ask them and invite them to bring them.
No,
And
for
then
the
there's
guest
a-
speakers. So you and I have been doing the guest speakers.
Yeah.
And Elaine has provided a couple of people as well.
This is for proclamation.
No, this is.
Yeah, but she asked about.
She mentioned Radness and Sue's coming.
Oh, to the committee.
Right, so I was just trying to understand what the nexus was between Kaiser Art Association and Radness and Sue's and like,
Only that she's a member.
yeah,
Yeah,
but that's a.
only that she's a member and she was gonna share on. Kaiser Public Arts, and then I invited her to share about her business that reaches out to youth in Kaiser.
So that is that, but I think that's my question. Is that a committee decision about who's coming to speak?
To the committee?
Yeah,
Robin? No, we're like microphone up to you if you would, please, because we are free.
I don't have my hearing aid yet.
Okay, we're handed the list of proclamations and then each one of the committee members picks whatever they would, whoever they would, whatever committee they would, or proclamation they would like to find somebody to, accept the proclamation. Like for myself, it was for the public arts and I just knew Becca was on there. I didn't know anybody else, so I asked her to come, and then it just happens to be a coincidence that she's also coming to talk about Radness and Sue's.
And she's talking about both?
Yeah, she's gonna be talking about both.
Okay, so you're not gonna do the art sheet.
Yeah, I'm not.
Thank you for clarifying.
I'm sorry, I'm making a note to myself because I promised I would get 3 presenters and it fell off my to-do list and I knew it. So there it goes, back on my to-do list. So. Then the other thing you did in February was review key findings and recommendations document prepared by Ray White. You have a copy of that. And then was that something that was passed on to the new committee members?
No, it did not make it back through.
Never heard of it.
Oh. Eminently. And I know we have electronically. Tim, you got it correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, we can forward it to the committee, please.
We can definitely do that. I think that's one of the things that after the June 6th meeting, it became somewhat irrelevant.
And this was prepared for Councilor Cross and it was dated 2/6/25.
That's correct.
Okay.
And what is it?
It is, it was CDEC, key findings and recommendations, purpose and overview for the committee. So this is when we were in the process of redefining, and refining the CDEC early in 2025. So this is what informed a lot of that work that went into the redefinition and clarification of the committee. So, I think it would be helpful for the current committee to have, so you know where you came from. Okay. And speaking of Ray White, this book is fabulous. I really recommend them. Reading it right now. Anyway. Sorry, we'll plug there. Okay, then we went through the changes to the CDEC in March, so this gets back to answer the question, when did y'all change? And then. You guys talked about a scoring rubric that did not get adopted. That was for. Committee membership, but that was not something that moved forward as it went to.
It went to BCC.
No, this was, it changed over to council appointment. So this kind of reviews how we got to where we're at. Then you guys took off. This crew, actually you joined when?
May, right? May or June.
Something like that. So he started a list of city focused events that CDC could participate in. And there was no lack of that. So Robin, were you on board at this point? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. So, cause I noticed through the year, there was a list and hashtag CDEC shows up. You guys do show up. Yes, we do. Well, absolutely. The city council office.
that's right.
There we go. You gave feedback on the new website. You reviewed the city's use of interpreting services.
So let's talk about that. Where is that? Oh, I know, third rail. Tell them, it's third rail stuff.
Specified, are we talking about the interpreting services? We're, I'm gonna look at Mr. Word.
Was that taking a recommendation to city council, or what was the purpose of reviewing the city's use of?
We brought, well, they came in to talk to us about, ASL at all of the city's events and city council meetings and that. So we wanted to look into it a little further. Dawn was able to share with us the cost of having interpreters at any given meeting. We use the CDC meeting as she uses CDC meeting as an example. And what we could come up with for meeting the events of the city was to use closed caption on the screens. At first, other than that, like down at the amphitheater, we weren't really sure how we could fix that. Unless they had a screen that has closed caption on it, but that was our recommendation that was supposed to come back to the city council.
And just follow up now, what do you, Council Christopher? This is where OWL comes in. Because, you know, what we've been able to do is start streaming. And streaming has the option of closed caption. Ms. Bissett, do you want to elaborate on that a little bit? I see your head nod.
I was just agreeing because I'm watching the closed captioning here.
There you go.
So when the owl is taping, we can choose to have that closed caption. So,
Well, it's not the, I'm sorry, it's the OWL streams it, and then when it goes to our streaming on YouTube. YouTube provides the closed captioning.
And if you watch it on YouTube, it goes to any language you click on.
so I again reviewed the city's use of interpreting services. Shouldn't that come back to us? Like, shouldn't we ask that they put together a formalized recommendation? This is what we're recommending at this time. And then shouldn't the city council agree to that? I mean, it seems like, it looks to me like there was a question asked because they were reviewing interpretive services. I just don't think the loop got closed.
Well, actually, kind of did through staff. So no, this wasn't a formal action where it takes a resolution on the part of city council to appropriate funds or approve services, because this is in compliance with ADA. And what we're doing through the streaming and our streaming services is complying with that. So we weren't making a change. But was doing this opening up our accessibility and saving money at the same
I
time.
know, I think it's all great. I just wondered if it needed to be formalized, that was the approach that we were gonna take rather than have an interpreter.
I'm going to go to Council President Tower, and then I'll go to staff.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think maybe Counselor Christopher, to build on what you were saying, instead of maybe coming back for council action, even if it was just getting an update, like in the staff, you know, the staff update portion of council. Just saying like this had been a recommendation or a request from CDC, and then this is what staff determined, just so it in effect is closing the loop.
Yeah.
Even though there's no action required.
Yeah, I did not know that. And I think that that would be a really good thing, and
We're being recorded.
I think that would be a really good thing to do, and to have all of us, in a public meeting, to say, this is how we're handling interpretive services. So I think you're right.
I'm gonna go to staff because this was addressed again in the fall, because we're only partway through the year.
Sure, I guess I would start off, this is still a work in process. The CDEC committee didn't recommend any changes to what we were currently doing. So that's why nothing ever really came back to the city council. It was more of an informative session. We're trying to figure out, the community was trying to figure out what requirements the city was obligated to in regards to interpreting. So we talked about if someone does request an interpreter, our process is to go find one, whether that be sign language or language or whatever the need might be. And we have to go through a process where we provide at least a reasonable effort to provide the services. So that was kind of the gist of the conversation. We did explore a few other areas of, what other options could we provide. And there was some discussion about interpreting services because we had someone who was using sign language at the time. So we tried to address some of that of what we could and couldn't do. The question did kind of expand a little bit more, say things like the concerts at the amphitheater. We as a city, it's not a city event per se, so it doesn't really fall under, if we get a request for service at the amphitheater, it's not really something that we're obligated to do. But we could reach out to the concert promoter and say, hey, have you thought of this to serve the community? So circling back, the reason it didn't come back is there was no recommendation of a change.
So, yeah. So to follow up, could we have just a staff memo that says, here is our current practice and here's what would happen if someone, I think that would be good. I mean, I don't know it. You don't know what? Did you know what we offer available for interpretive services? You do, Bob? No, sorry. Okay.
If you ever watch it on YouTube or Facebook, it's right there. I read it a lot of times, turn the volume down, just read it.
Yeah, I noticed that. I didn't know how it got there. I didn't know YouTube did it.
Often.
I think the situation that we're referring back to was an ASL interpreter that was in-house here in person. And we were wondering if there's a way to get closed captions in-house to then eliminate the need of an interpreter. So how would we go out to here versus like that TV turned around? Could we get closed caption on that TV at a level where somebody could read? So it's within,
Right.
Exactly.
so.
Okay.
So, yes, and I think that what we're seeing just from a year ago till now is technology is rapidly advancing. Brown?
Yes, Madam Chair and committee and council members, the city recorder and assistant city manager and I have been working on something for a couple months now, and the technology change here because there are public education government money, the PEG funds can't be used for ongoing support, and with our financial challenges, it's hard to justify that around $100,000 that we're spending for broadcasting. And so we're looking at technology so we can alleviate that cost and shift that over to our police to help fund those services. And we can use those for funds for capital improvements in here, which include not just being able to hit ASL or Spanish, but possibly 50 languages. And so there's, as you said, the technology is advancing so fast, and it's getting better and better, that we're looking for an autonomous system in here that would provide more inclusivity to people in the community.
So we spend
Microphone because it's
$100,000 in the PEG money. Doesn't PEG come from cable?
It does, so we can't use that, so that's now shifting over to general fund. That we're having to bear that cost. It's a little under 100,000 for the broadcasting services, and then they do a couple other things for us, including coverage of the parade and stuff, but just the broadcasting service. We found a couple solutions, you know, that
But if they're
provide
giving
a-
us money to do that, why are we paying another 100,000?
Old money, new money. This is now the new money. Remember, we got that deal where we could use PEG for operations? That's no longer true.
Right.
And we knew it was gonna be at some point, but Shannon told us that once we're gonna renew our franchise with Comcast, they're gonna fix that. And they did. So now then we segregated money into the old money, which we could use for operations, and new, which is equipment only. And we've used up the old money.
Got it.
Okay.
So we think that fits with the council's priorities of wanting to fund our police department.
Right, and I'm engaged in the community, because what we're hearing from everybody is that the more opportunities we have for engagement and using the technology to do so, winner. But we gotta be really cognizant of the cost, and this is where all of the staff work on technology is gonna help us achieve this goal of the inclusion. And, you know, to the point of several folks that Councilor Cross brought up many times about different languages, this technology answer gets us way beyond what we imagined even a year or two ago. Okay, great conversation. Let's keep going. Where we at, Tammy?
Action item CDC.
Okay, this was, yeah. So this one we formed, did the new resolution. Okay, create long-term goals, short-term goals. We had our work session with y'all. And that's when you began the initial planning for the All Nations Day. Was August of 25. It wasn't something that was doable in 25. So let's, I'd like to put a pin in that one, if we could.
I'd like to talk about.
Can we? I think it's on the plan goals for 26. Okay. So can we put a pin in that one? Sure. Review kind of demographic information, so. Committee, you guys are working on better understanding the committee, the community.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. What does that mean?
Which one? The demographic information?
When you speak, you're understanding the community better, what does that mean? And what's the relevancy? Like, what are we seeing as a result of that?
Are you? So personally, when I'm out in the community, I can tell you that in the neighborhood association, we have 17 families that speak Russian, 3 Ukrainian, and several different families throughout the greater Dexter.
What does that mean for the committee as a whole? What is I appreciate that's what you're doing personally, but what is the committee doing? What does that mean for the committee? And how does that translate into what's being done out in the community?
So it allows me to have translated materials when I need them, like I can call Dawn and say, Dawn, I've got so-and-so that needs Russian or Spanish or whatever. And it can connect with Dawn or Melissa and get that material. It gives us a way to communicate with them. It opened up the OWL access for those families who don't speak our language. And allows us to reach a part of the community, honestly, that was left out for a long time.
But I think where I'm trying to get to is that a practice? I hear that that's what you are.
No, I'm doing that as part of this committee, but I also live that part of my life.
I'm trying to get to, is that what the entire committee is doing for the entire community? That's where I'm trying to get.
So are you accessing such as American Community Survey, the demographics that are available? So I cited some of those in my latest State of the City address. And would that be useful information to get on a regular basis? It's very easy to download. But just to get that to the, committee to understand, here's our current demographics, here's how things shake out in terms of, race, ethnicity, age. Silver tsunami is here, folks. And just to kind of understand the ebb and flow of the community to ask questions. I'm gonna go to Councilor Cross, who's been waiting, and then I'll come back.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And this might be something that you can't answer, Chair Coons, but just to follow up on with what Council President Starr said is when you said, and thank you, because this has been something that I've been harping on for the last couple of years with us not having enough things in maybe Spanish or Russian or is that when you were contacting Dawn and Melissa, as we are with Mr. Brown just said that we are in financial hardship, that we are doing our due diligence when we are contacting Melissa and Dawn with those staff hours, right? To know how many staff hours are being used for that. So if we are being mindful, not because your intent is great, right? Your intent is you want the neighborhoods and all that to be translated effectively. But on the same hand, if Melissa and Dawn are trying to be super helpful, are we making sure that we are using their time effectively and that we know what those limitations are? If it's more than 20 or 30 minutes, does Melissa know, ding, 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 I really need to talk to Mr. Wood or Mr. Brown about that. Does that make sense? So knowing on that end that there is some flag that goes up as you only have X amount of full-time employees, that everyone is doing their fiduciary responsibility.
That's a good point.
So is the thinking that when we know this demographics, we say, gosh, we've got 30% Hispanic Latino community. What are we doing to reach out to that? So then we put action, yeah, that's my question. So then I'm saying, action plan to say, okay, let's do this for this community, or we have, there's a Russian holiday coming up, so we can, that's my point. So is that what you're thinking about with the demographics, or is that what, I think that's what we should be thinking about. But if we're reviewing those demographics, let's do something with them.
And that, I think that access to readily available, demographic information is only helpful. Because that can then spur conversation with the committee. So it gives you tools to work with. So there might be something that we don't know or that we've missed because it doesn't fall within, my day-to-day life or somebody else's. But we get a broader picture. Mr. Wood.
Just to put it into a little bit of framework, this was requested shortly after we had the changeover in committee members. There was more of a refresher of what the demographics of Kaiser are, just for the committee members' sake. Ultimately, I concur with all of you that this will ultimately lead into something else, but this is more of who are we, a starting point for the committee to work from.
Build understanding. Excellent.
Well, we're the client.
Okay, then, you guys continued work on the locations, guest speaker, which is happening this year.
When is the one at the Kaiser Fire District?
Thursday. Within this week.
That's a big freaking thing.
No. Well, okay. The CTC then created guest speaker guidance approved by the council on October 6th. Volunteer training video. Can we put a pin in this one too? Because I'd like to bring to everybody's attention that there's a lot of work already done by the Oregon City County Managers Association. There's a whole series of civic training that's already been produced by OCCMA. And we can use it. So what? Oh, okay. Yeah, yes, well then.
It recorded the two house. Yeah.
You already started. Okay.
We've already started. McNairy High School's on it. They sent the script to us. We're updating the script or revising it, which will go back to them and then come to city council.
Beautiful.
And it's recruiting, right?
And it's the volunteer.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay, so it's not
It's
volunteer.
not training, it's volunteer recruiting. Yeah.
Oh, okay, because this is training, I'm thinking, you know,
Yeah.
this is, how to be a committee member.
So, yeah, this should.
So this is recruit.
Recruiting. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah,
Know that you're using it. Good job.
That's not.
yeah, good job. Okay, created the CTC outreach postcards. Took a while, but we got them done. Woo! Pedestrian flag program. Way to go. And I'm gonna say, I was one of the doubters. I was.
Is it working?
Yeah. We're getting good feedback on the pedestrian flag program.
You know, what does that have to do with CDC? I'm just one, it's fine, right? Presented that I did it. I think it.
Somebody mentioned that one of our meetings that they were doing it already.
West Kaiser came to visit us
Yeah.
and shared their program, and then Jackie shared the one in Greater Northeast. And they're both working really well. Rhonda has,
Safety.
I think that the nexus is making sure that there's, that. Cause I think if we go back to early days of CDEC, we wanted, the practice was to bring things forward to the committee to review, to just get their input and their
Oh,
eyes on it.
Oh, okay.
So I think
It's part of that.
it's part of that.
Okay, thank you.
And then some of these, it's serving neighborhoods that don't have as much built infrastructure because they were built prior to as becoming a city. So these are all the ones that are going now. We have west, southeast, and northeast. I think that's it. Right?
Oh, I was just gonna ask if, we were gonna be using those funds in other neighborhoods now that the pilot project is.
Did you speak in the mic? Molly?
Oh, yeah, it's on.
I just want to know if the other neighborhoods were gonna use these since the pilot project was a success.
Yes. It was, I believe it was approved to go forward. I remember correctly.
Mr. Brand.
Thanks, Madam Mayor, Chair and Council. The item is scheduled to come back to City Council to be approved, showing the proof of concept through the two examples we did, one at Shamawa and the other by Kennedy School. And it's one that's gonna be entirely run by the neighborhood associations. No city involvement of it, so. But there are guidelines that we've put around it. Has to be at controlled intersections where there's an existing crosswalk. Not in the middle of somewhere where they get swiping. Multimodal.
Well, it has to go through multimodal, but it has to go through
There we go.
the new bill, the neighborhood care.
Oh, yeah,
Carrie.
yeah, Jerry, yeah.
The new bill. I get it.
So the locations are important that you do through the approval process, but the actual program will be run by the neighborhood association.
There you go.
Can I ask a question about that really quick? So how do you know it's a success? Because I go to the park every day. I've not seen one person use the flags. I see mostly jaywalkers and people just walking across without using the flags. That's all I'm saying. Is somebody sitting there counting or how do we know?
We heard this, but I think that's a great question. I think that's a question that we talk about at multimodal or we talk about at city council.
Okay. You put a pin in it then.
Because my day quote wears off at 7:30.
Noted.
You get that, I understand.
Worse.
Okay.
But I do want to put a fun point on this one, is that because of the more robust conversation about this and the awareness, not just in the project, but also in the neighborhood safety, I think that's where it had elevated and the interest got further out in the community for suggested locations. So I think there was a win-win in cross-pollination. Review the flyer created by police department regarding immigration enforcement practices. Thank you to our police department and city staff and for the CTC for reviewing that. Extremely timely and very.
It's on our website, isn't it?
Yes.
I think I think it's front page if I remember. On the side. I'd have to look, but yeah, it's on the website. So we have questions, we could refer, but having you guys' eyes on, I think was very helpful for perspective. And then again, perspective, provide feedback on the citizen survey, thank you, and I just saw it posted today. So here we go. So everybody, lean in, get people to respond. I already shared it on my social media. So it's out there. And then y'all had guest speakers. And this gets into 26, so yeah, you guys got a lot done. So a huge thank you. Huge thank you to all of you for the work you've done and the thought you've put into everything you're doing to make sure that what comes through is really sensitive to our entire community. Any other comments on 25? We're going to 26, Mr. Wood.
I would also like to reiterate what you just said. They get together for about an hour to an hour and a half once a month. And this is the list of what we've worked through this year. I think it's quite a bit given the limited time. In addition to having basically 3 different groups, we had the group the first couple months, then we had a group for a couple months. We lost a few members, and then there was a 3rd group that developed. So well done for all the hard work. Thank you.
I agree.
So, yes, indeed. So let's look at 26. And what we've got coming. So, already this year, you had guest speakers come in to, again, broaden the communications. CBEL in February with Ashley Russell and Eduardo Angulo. Salem Country School District, Dr. Chandra Geary and Chrissy Hudson. And then, well,
They loved it. They were so thankful for it.
they loved, yeah, absolutely. That was a winner.
Yes,
They loved the experience and
they felt wanted.
yes,
They've never been invited before.
No.
Amazing.
No, it was a real home run.
yeah, absolutely. And that's the sort of thing too, that we can encourage people to go back and listen to or watch the video. Again, technology has opened up the opportunity, they can go back and listen and watch, which is so cool. So it's not just one and done, but it gets farther out in the community. So, what are you working on? Here we go. Offsite meetings, April 2nd. First one, and then once you've done the first one, what is the committee's plan for assessing and planning for the next step?
We've already started communicating with the Southeast Kaiser community. Where they hold the Friday night feed,
Oh, you said
so the community center. And then, we've talked about doing a 3rd one at the rec
it.
or the Grange.
Right.
Probably the rec, cause it's more ADA accessible.
Yeah. A little bit, right, Costa?
And no elevators.
Yeah. A little bit more room too, and got the sound system down,
Far more parking.
yeah. Because when you're upstairs, if somebody's upstairs, you can hear all the creaking downstairs at the rec range. It's quaint, but.
A great place to meet people.
Okay, so there's at least plans for a couple more.
So the plan is to complete 3 offsite meetings this year. Great job. And terrific. That sounds like a terrific goal.
Okay, and then looking forward to hearing, what's the feedback, what do people like, what works, what the value, lessons learned. Okay. Volunteer training video. Robin says in progress. This is McNary.
Yes, okay, the McNary. What, do you have a delivery date?
Yes. It says May 11th.
May 11th.
May 11th is our target.
And so you'll bring it to council, so we'll get to see it.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
You'll see the script before.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Sorry.
I was thinking about something.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm just a growth dagger, probably wouldn't be a bad idea for a couple of people, whoever that is. All this wonderful dais from left to right, to look over that before the kids get out of school, just to see if there's anything that need to be
Oh, yeah.
reshot or things that have said that maybe you're like, ooh, like that.
That's a
Feel
good-
that it's wrong,
That's a good
wrong,
comment.
you know, the kids being funny, you're like, oh, I can see that's how funny, but we don't want to. Yeah, like, you know, 7, 6, like, whatever, those things, but before they're like, look at this great thing, and you don't wanna be like. But so maybe have a couple, whatever volunteers go out there and sit through it with them and give some feedback and. You know, so before we just break hearts in front of city council, that we go in there lovingly. So I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Who's the teacher lead on that? Is it Tom Layton? No, Ashley. Oh, Ashley. Oh, great. Yeah.
So Robin, you're gonna make sure, all of you will make sure that's followed up on. Fantastic, looking forward to that. Okay, the outreach postcards, they're now out in the community, so keep distributing them this year.
Where are they?
Yeah, Tim.
Tough for us, kind of harsh.
I tell you, just call me Mr. Continuity, okay?
Somebody's got.
I got distracted with spring break last week, but they're ready to be printed.
They're ready to be printed?
Yes.
Oh, so we don't have any.
Okay. So once they're out, then we'll have them available to pick up.
My prediction manager corrected me today. These are not postcards, they're called rat cards. Yeah, so sorry.
Okay.
I was wrong. Rat cards.
Because of that long skinny thing we all learned with the.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, some of these will be taken down to the chamber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where are you gonna put them? So we'll want some in the cultural center, all 4 nonprofits over there. So add that to your distribution list. 20,000 people go through that.
Yeah, I think that we need to have it all high traffic areas.
Yes.
Thank you so much. All high traffic areas, the Grange,
Right.
the Rat. Cascade Farms and every place that there's high traffic.
She meant Wilco.
Wilco, sorry, Wilco. In that river.
Teachers and Bobbies.
And then also, I'm assuming that every member of the committee is going to be carrying those with them, and we're just gonna leave little piles everywhere we go. At least that's my.
How many are you printing?
And hand them out.
How many are you printing?
Yeah.
And I would assume that things like Sunny Day at the Park, Homework Day, all of those different type of events.
Absolutely, all of the city events that you put on, we're hoping to have a table there
Great.
so that we can collect
Like-
information
Mhm.
and have our funds.
Cool.
Tim, where are we with that?
You just said.
He's gonna get.
No, the
Yeah,
table.
I'm hoping-
Kaiser Fest.
I haven't done any work on that yet, so.
When is it? It's coming right up.
We also have to remember and give grace that our staff's working in the middle of budget season right now and putting the budget together.
I'll keep that, Tim. I'll do the application for Kaiser Fest for you.
This isn't Kaiser Crest though, this is Soggy Day.
Oh, Soggy Day, I'm sorry.
No, Kaiser Fest.
Kaiser Fest and Soggy Day.
Does
Can
Soggy
we
Day
pick
require?
that on? Or do we have to go through?
No, it's just.
Can I make a suggestion that we put that on the agenda for the meeting on Thursday, that we talk about
Great.
where those lists for outreach are,
Yeah.
and then we're not getting bogged down here.
All right.
Yep.
I appreciate moving on. National Night Out. So. Great neighborhood participation, great, community member presence. I'd like one more thing added to this, and this came up because of conversations. With Kaiser United, who is helping fund some of the activities around neighborhoods and National Night Out. Should this be run through our neighborhood association budget, and if so, what do you think that looks like in terms of neighbor associations and outreach? Rather than something different for each neighborhood association? in terms of funding,
I didn't even understand that.
sorry. You know what?
But
We're gonna put
I understand what she's saying.
let's put a pin in that for the neighborhood association,
Yes.
meeting,
Yes,
okay?
they can discuss what they wanna do and then they can bring it back and tell us if they think they can spend some of their money to do that.
Right, instead of going to, Kaiser United for funding
Correct.
individually, they can do it collaboratively as neighborhood associations to be able to make sure that they've got the resources necessary to put on National Night Out events.
Got it.
Boom. Okay, yes,
So in regards to number 4 on here, it says encourage neighborhood participation and explore committee member presence at neighborhood events. I think that that is a great descriptor.
mhm.
How? What's your plan? As a committee? We'll put that down there and you can say that, but what does that look like? How are you going to do it? So I would put that on your agenda for conversation and dialogue because it's one thing to put a kind of a general descriptor down, it's another thing to do it, put a plan together.
Yeah, 'cause Shane, you and I went to all the ones, like labor associations last year.
Put together a plan, okay. Okay. Here's the pin, Lori, go back, all nations day.
Great, so
Microphone.
I love this idea and I'm very supportive of this idea. And this person sitting right next to me, I have known, how long have we known each other? A couple of decades, maybe 3. And she took this on when she was chair with a vengeance and she had a plan. So I am assuming we're moving forward with it this year in 2026.
It got paused.
Why? Well, I don't want it paused. I understand why we paused in 2025, but I don't understand why it's being paused in 2020. Is it being paused, Tammy?
It's on pause right now because we were getting ready for this and we needed to know where we stood with city council.
Let me tell you where you stand.
Since we didn't have quorum for this meeting, I can bring it up at the next meeting in April.
What do you need to know?
Now, what do you need to know? Because I think all of city council is pro All Nations Day.
Well, I had a question. And that was, again, what we're doing here tonight. Were they far enough along with what we asked them to do before taking on a large event? And getting that ready to go in a timely fashion and, when is this supposed to happen? When was All Nations, when's
Wasn't it going to be on Indigenous Peoples' Day?
September,
Is that?
October.
Yeah, we're still. It's a great idea.
That day has already been reserved for the civic center and the Chalmers grounds. I lost it because
Oh, it's lost,
decision making was too long.
so we can't have it here.
Unless Lily can work her magic and move them someplace.
so we already have it, somebody else already reserved. Wilson Park and,
Civic center is also not by the same people, they're 2 different people.
What are you kidding? On
What?
Indigenous Peoples'
I
Day?
have,
what day is that?
I have had it reserved and then took my reservation away when I was sick. So I didn't wanna hold up any finances.
Can I ask, make the decision to table it?
The group voted on it and tabled it.
So the CDEC committee voted to table it?
I,
Not everybody.
well, Elaine Wilson made the motion, Tammy seconded it, and the committee just went along with it. I think Robin voted
I
no.
voted no.
I was not here at that
And
meeting.
Fausto was not here,
How
but
was your
Larry and,
I would have voted to keep it going.
So,
so they had a quorum and the quorum said, we want to pause it. They didn't think that
Just-
they could get everything done in time. And really, reason why Robin voted no is because she'd already done 3/4 of the work necessary to put this on. That's why she voted no. And I'm not sure that they gave her the opportunity to explain that.
Council Ross?
Thank you, Member. I mean, I was just gonna hop in because everybody else is hopping in tonight, but I thought I heard his hand. What I would, damn it, I'm gonna try to be funny, sorry.
You gotta know what you're gonna say.
I lost my train of thought there. Thank you, Robin, for all your hard work on that. And I guess my follow-up on that is that would have been really super helpful information to have when we have our committee updates. So to say like with our monthly committee updates, to say, whoever.
I was not presenting, that was.
Elaine did.
Like,
That she said we voted
Yes.
on that, we shut it down.
She did not say you voted on it, shut it down. She said
She said it was.
pause.
Right, so
That to us did not say that it's not moving forward this
Right.
year.
so that's what I'm saying, so maybe like when we're writing notes, and of course, we're all volunteers, again, we all get paid the same amount, so. No throwing rocks about anybody, everybody's doing the best that they can between raising their families and being parents. But that would have been helpful or good to know,
Is it
like,
too
hey,
late
there
for
was a
this
vote for a
raise?
motion,
October twelfth is a Monday.
so
we would
just
have to do it.
throwing it out there.
Yeah, but Kathy, the reason that is everybody's off school and work.
It's a holiday.
It's a holiday. It's perfect.
Oh,
Yes,
Yeah.
Columbus Day.
It's Columbus Day.
Indigenous.
For those of us, who are 70, it's Columbus Day.
well,
And for those of us who are not, it's indigenous.
You're too over.
well, I think it's really-
You're over there. It's Columbus Day. Biggest storm of our lives.
Federally, they're calling it the other Indigenous Peoples' Day.
Federally, I think they have gone back to the Columbus.
It is Columbus Day again?
Federally, I believe they have been calling.
Either way, it's a holiday.
Either way, it's holidays.
I'll take it.
Oh,
Okay, we lost.
okay.
control.
So, okay, to focus. Number one,
Yep.
the idea is to do it on Indigenous Peoples' Day, which is October twelfth, and that is a federal holiday,
Correct, yeah.
correct? Okay, because I did not recognize in my head that was a federal holiday. So putting it on a Monday, Mr. Wood.
We can check on the date. I don't think we looked at that date specifically. We were looking at weekends. And all the weekends in the event center are pretty well booked up. So that was the challenge. We can look at that Monday. Just note that the city hall is still open, and that's not a holiday that the city celebrates. Many years ago, we changed Columbus Indigenous Peoples' Day for the day after Thanksgiving.
Yes, it is federal holiday.
Okay, so our federal, for our city employees in bargaining. They said that we're going to take the day after Thanksgiving as our paid holiday rather than Indigenous Peoples' Day. So we have business going here, but the event center is open for business.
Correct, and I'll check the date and see if it's available.
Thank
Great.
you. Thank you. Okay, so
Great, let's see if we can do it.
taking this back to the committee for a conversation on Thursday. Given the work that has been accomplished in 25, the work plan that is being put together for 26. Take it back to the committee to discuss, does this feel now like this is a doable thing on October 12th? Absolutely, okay. So.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Okay, but, so what would be helpful would be to, this is to take it back to the committee, because the recommendation has come from the committee coming forward. Back to council. Mr. Brown.
Just so you know, I don't think the schools have that day off either. I think the schools are still in session.
Ooh.
No, I think the schools are off.
Look at the calendar from this year and doesn't show. They are off.
Is that, it's federal? Is the state it off?
And I went, when I was working in DC, we got all the federal holidays, in Washington DC, we got all the federal holidays off, so. Oftentimes I would go down watch with my kids in school back in Virginia, because they didn't get that day off school.
I think it depends on the state. And it depends on the calendar, because there's so many days like seat time. So I don't think they necessarily choose every single holiday, but that's just Jonesy from Calvin.
Maybe that's what I'm remembering, that it didn't register my brain that it was, let's say, a holiday because. School was in session, so we've got two issues. One is that we want school children to be able to attend this because it's a highly educational opportunity.
They have it off.
They do have it off on October 12th.
Yes. Yes. There's a list here of the school holidays and closures and Indigenous People Day / Columbus Day, I just thought, I just like to be one or the other. This is, I don't sure that here.
Oh my.
He said, yeah, he said. Parentheses, I don't know, anyway, it's all.
It is a school holiday, because that to me is make or break. For the success of this event, to get people here, and, sometimes families are looking for things to do on a
That is
Tuesday
a
holiday.
point, yeah. Perfect.
Lisa?
Oh, I just, in 2025, it was not a McNary holiday. Cause I just went to the calendar
Yeah.
and looked at parent view, and it was not a McNary holiday in 2025.
No. Oh, I think this would be a teacher's contract negotiations, put it back to your holiday.
Okay, maybe?
I don't know, what,
Okay, we've got to get confirmation for the October 12th date, because student family participation is gonna be really important for not only putting on the event, you know, people actually providing the music and entertainment and so forth, but also attendance. So can we get clarification on that?
And availability.
Availability of facility and alternate dates. So committee, I'm gonna put this back on you. You're gonna have to come up with a workable date. Okay, and then recommendation from the committee to move forward, based on what you find. Okay? So, any questions on that?
That sounds good.
All right. Moved on.
Yeah, and then also sign up to go to.
I know. Thank you, Robin.
And the husband. No, she's working. Oh,
All right,
nothing.
we'll be thinking of you. And we're almost at the end, so your timing is perfect.
Yeah, bro.
So we'll just assign the rest of it to you.
Be there on the chair, Rob.
Right, that's
I
that.
do, chair.
Yeah,
I definitely did.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna give it to Guillermo and to Larry. Okay, two more things, we're done.
Okay.
Community outreach and listening, identify barriers to participation and gather community feedback to inform committee recommendations. So this is gonna be ongoing work from the committee to. Yes.
Go ahead, please go your best.
Okay, so identify barriers to community, to participation in committees and so forth. So this is something, some information gathering for future planning. I'm getting a head nod from Mr. Wood, Council President Starr.
So this goes back to my, kind of a similar question that I asked, up above about how you're encouraging neighborhood participation. I want to know how you're doing this.
I think that's the outreach meeting.
What's the plan? But what information are you bringing back? In what form? And who's does that, like, do you see, I can say anecdotally that there's XYZ issue, but unless you're being clear on how you're gathering that data, from whom, and I just think there needs to be more clarity. This is a good vague goal, but there needs to be substance to the goal and action plan.
I'm gonna go to actually do Foster.
Right, I think an example of this would have been the ASL interpreter thing, situation that we came into conflict with. Maybe, as you were saying, there's probably a better way to report that as opposed to a nice idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so to your point, for the committee to have a conversation, what does this look like? Is there a structure that you want put in place or a regular check-in? What is put together? This is gonna be one of the things you work on this year as a plan.
That's another how.
How, why, and
Yeah, we got two how.
yeah.
Yeah,
How on National Night Out outreach and how on community outreach. So it's it's the outreach pieces that need to have.
Right. And that's gonna be the work in progress for 26.
Terrific.
So we'll see something by the end of the year, Mr. Brown.
that one way to measure that is to say, how do we know if we're successful? What's that look like? What's the measurement of it?
Yeah, right.
So looking forward to the conversation of the committee and how that begins to flesh out. Because that information I think will be really helpful when you marry it with the committee survey. We're going on now. And then looks like we're skipping 7 because there isn't one. I'm going to 8. I'm just being. Sorry, okay, intercommittee collaboration, I love this. Inviting representatives from other city committees to share information and explore opportunities for collaboration, and it sounds like this is gonna be ongoing through the end of the year.
That could just be a different time.
So, and we have the examples up here, where you had the volunteer coordinating committee come last year, so you're gonna schedule this to work with representatives.
Yeah, and we're doing it with
Okay.
the neighborhood association.
No, good, I was gonna ask that.
Okay, so add onto that one and neighborhood association. Okay,
So how many neighborhoods you got?
five.
Five. And how many committees do we have?
Five.
Six.
Or six, I think. Well, not including yourselves.
So that's, so what I'm getting at is, we meet 12 times a year. So there could be a portion from neighborhood committee, neighborhood.
Whoever's available,
Yeah.
yes. Okay, plan like that.
The tricky part about that is Southeast meets at the same time we do,
Yes, both of them.
so that makes it really hard for Southeast.
Maybe you could put them at the beginning or the end.
They don't meet until 5, right?
6:30.
No, they both meet at the same time, right?
So if they meet at
No,
6,
we meet at 6, they
Okay,
meet at
so-
6:30.
so they
Well,
can
there's
come
your,
to
there's
the
your-
meeting.
yeah, there's your half hour right there. Yeah.
Include joint sessions as part of it.
If there's a Zoom. No, well, I can do it from work, no problem.
That's-
No, it's not all that hard with technology. We can do that, but if you bring some people, if folks can be here in person, that's gonna be really important for in-person conversation, and I'll leave it to you guys to figure it out.
Okay.
Councilor Christopher,
I like
microphone.
I like the 2026 plan. I like where you're going. I like that there's 7 things that you're gonna accomplish. I think that if number 4 and number 6, if we know what is success and how you're gonna do it, I think it's a great plan and I'm happy. Good job.
I would agree.
That's one.
And, the other question is, we've been trying to do these every 6-ish months, this is late. Do we want to meet again in the fall, or do we want to, schedule, start moving to annual?
I think annual. I think
You wanted-
get it.
Do we want it, early next year to check in on how these happened? Or do you want to look at something, by the end of the year, Councilor Frost?
My suggestion is that if we can, if you bring back to the committee, is that if we can just be a little bit more, not saying that anything, again, that's been wrong, we're all volunteers, is that we can be a little bit more detailed with those monthly committee reports,
Yes.
that we are golden with once a year.
Yeah.
Okay, again, I appreciate everyone in the room, up here, listening, watching. Yes, Flash, all the things that everyone here does, that annually is great.
All right, so it sounds like, as I say, there's a plan. And, there's some goals that are gonna be really helpful for the community as well as the city council. And.
I would say, since this should finish out the year, and we're pretty early, it's March, you've got 9 months. So I would think that they'll put another one of these together for 27, and so you should be looking at it like in February at the latest, to see what the years, okay.
So at some point, we'll, schedule a work session again,
Yep.
catch up, check in, and that I think was super important in the, reimagining
I
and
agree.
also the, helping us brainstorm on what we are actually going to be able to accomplish together and keep adapting to changes. Because, there's a lot of things that have changed in the last year, and there's going to be a lot of things changing this year.
So is there anything, any of you think that we should add that we're not doing before everybody bills?
No, execute this, let's.
I think this is it's substantive, and by overburdening, if we split you guys too many different ways, it'll reduce the focus, so I wouldn't add anything.
I wouldn't even. The soggy table, or soggy table. Soggy table for the dog days. And Kaiser Fed, no, good crack that, those are really great community drink out. So that's when we did reach out for the parks, master plan, and we got hundreds of people.
Yeah.
So just keep those on the radar. No, I like it, I like the fun.
All right. Okay, Fausto, anything else from us?
Then all done?
Counselors? Good,
Good.
good, good, good,
Yeah.
good, good. Staff, did we leave any question marks for you guys of what the heck did they mean? No? All right, the time is 7:16. We are adjourned.
Thanks. Dinner.